Hi, everyone. I'm Mincy Pollock. I am the help desk liaison here in Jacksonville, Florida at local 1408. Weekly in our local, we have a help desk during our payday. So members can come and resolve any issues with their payroll, get any questions answered, can orientate any new members. And during our help desk sessions, we've been noticing a lot of some of the same questions that need answers. So we wanted to figure a way how we could take those frequently asked questions and begin putting them into a video series. So welcome to our help desk video series. So if you're checking this out on YouTube, but you're not in Jacksonville, a lot of what we'll cover in our topics will be applicable to your local market, maybe with a few different tweaks. All right. Uh, Again, thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share this. And I want to, of course, give a shout out to our president, Warren K. Smith. It was always his vision to make sure that he put things in place to help members navigate. So this is to help members. This is so that we can hold their hands and help them navigate their way into good understanding, because knowledge is power. So today's series, we're going to be dealing with wage overview. Just got the ratification of the contract. People are making more. It's been another year, and we've got a number of people that have come by the help desk going, how much did I get paid? How much did I get paid? And I'm letting you know, don't be afraid or don't be embarrassed because maybe you didn't know. Because listen, there have been a lot of changes. You could have come into the industry long years ago. You might have just been starting. You might have came, then left and came back. All of those variables affect where you're going to be as it relates to rate, depending on your particular cargo. So let's jump right into it today and see if we can't help you better understand your rate. All right, I do my best here to help you understand. We all know that dedication is hard work and integrity, and it's what we do and what we stand for. Again, I am Mincy Pollock with ILA Local 1408. This is your wage overview. And again, if you're not from our port, but perhaps you're in the South Atlantic, a lot of this is going to be applicable. All right. So hopefully don't turn away just because it's Local 1408. Okay. All right. All right, so let's start right off with the container wage progression. Container wage progression is something that is tiered, okay, under the new contract. We're going to be talking about what we call eligible anniversary years, okay? Eligible anniversary years. Instead of using the words qualified, because in different ports, that means like seniority, right? We're strictly dealing with rates today. We're going to talk about if you came in the industry early, if you just got to the industry, if you've been here from 0 to 4 years or 4 years plus. And we're going to talk about these rates and the base part of the rates, because depending on what you're doing on a particular vessel, if you're an operator, if you're a driver, spotter, flagman, there's usually a little extra change that comes with each dollar amount, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we want you to know about that as well. All right, let's jump right in and let's deal with the eligible anniversary year and the requirements, okay? So if you came into the industry pre-October 1, 2009, and you worked at least 1 hour, that equals one eligibility step. We'll talk about what that means. If you came into the industry October 1, 2009 up until 2024, right? We're going to talk about that you fall under needing 700 plus hours to continue moving within steps, right? And then 800 plus if you came into the industry and you've never gotten over 700 hours, the requirement is going to be for you. Once you figure out the tier level where you start, you will be required to have 800 plus hours to be able to move and advance into eligibility for rate changes. Again, this could be confusing because some people in some ports, 700 might mean you moving up in seniority. But if you've never had the 700 prior to the contract starting, your seniority could change, but your rate won't change until you reach, as it says here, 800 plus. All right, let's go into that a little bit deeper. This right here, what we're looking at is actually the tier chart. So let's talk a little bit about it. You just came into the industry, started brand new, you're going to be right here where it says 0. Last year, your paycheck said that you were making $27 an hour every time you worked on a container boat. Now, the year passed. We're in October, at post-October, it's in 2025, and you're wondering, well, what should I be making now? If you came into the industry and you're brand new, remember your requirement brand new was 800, right? So you didn't make 800 hours, you just shift over one, okay? And let's say you're brand new to the industry and you made 800 hours, you moved diagonally. Your rate this year would be $32.75. Make 800 hours again, you'll move to 42. Make 800 hours again, you'll make the 50, 2025. Make 800 hours again, boom, and you catch up with everybody else. All right, let's say you came into the industry before 2009 and you had at least 1 year worth of service. That meant you started your year here. Let's say you had 2 years where you had more than 1 hour. You started your tier here. So let's say this past year you made $36, right? But the year passed, we're into the new year, and you worked 700 hours. But if you had 700 hours, you would not move, right? Because remember, it takes 800 if you never had gotten to 700 before, right? But let's say you were in the industry and you had already gotten the 700 hours. You started right here. That's prior to that time period from 2009 to 2024, right? You fall into this category. You've already done at least 700 hours and you've been in the industry for 2 years. You start here, 36. And then you finish this year with 700 more hours. Doesn't take you 800, take you 700 more. You would move right there. Boom. And then boom. You move diagonally to move into progression. Now, me, for example, I have 4+ years. I have over 20 years in the industry. I qualified in 2023. So when the new year came, I started here. And then I started right here at 45. This year I'm at 50. Next year I'll be at 54. Okay. So remember, it was 6, 5. Then it was what? 4. Then it's 3, 3, 3. Okay. That's our progression over the next years. That's how the container rate. Again, don't get confused what it takes for you to qualify for seniority than what it takes for you to be able to become eligible for your tier increase. Okay. All right. Next up, cars. Let's say you just came into the industry, right? You just came into the industry. You're brand new. You're going to start at $25. Now, cumulatively, you've been around the industry. You might have 500 hours the previous year. You get 200. As soon as you get to that 700 hours, you then move to the eligible rate. This goes across the board. Whenever you cumulatively get 700 hours in the industry, you move up to whatever the current high rate is. And currently, that's $42. Okay? So again, get 700. You're just new to the industry. You get that, boom, you can go to the higher rate. Don't get 700, you don't move up to the higher rate. Okay? This is what I want you to pay close attention to. High, heavy equipment. If you're working that on that boat or in that game, at that point, you're going to be containing whatever rate at whatever container rate you are at your particular tier. Now, if you're sort of new into the industry, your container rate might be $38. You might have done over 700 hours. So that means you're actually going to be making less than what the standard rate, prevailing rate is, right? But let's say you're like me, you're making $50 an hour, and you're working heavy equipment, you'd be making 50 during this period of time. So if you're on a boat, again, that's doing high heavy lift game, or if you're on a ro-ro vessel, that's a car boat, but it's considered ro-ro in its terms, you'll be paid the container rate on that particular vessel for that entire period. All right. Next up is cruise. Let's say you work in the cruise terminal. The current rate across the board, regardless of what year you came here. If you're a baggage handler, you're going to be making $27.50. Forklift, $27.75. If you work overtime, weekends, $41.25. That is the current cruise rate. All right. Doesn't matter again how many years you've been in, what's your seniority or anything, that's the rate. Next up, trailer bridge. We have a Puerto Rican trade kind of deal going on with barges. If you work this particular for this particular company under this particular stevedore, Your rate is $32 if you're hookman penman, no matter how many years you've been here. Your spotter, you're $32.25, tractor trailer, $34.50, stack operator, $37. Now you'll see a $1 increase in 2026 and then another one in 2027. This is a special local agreement, trailer bridge rates. This is what it is for these Royal Road vessels, barges, okay? All right, so that's strictly for trailer bridge, no matter when you come into the industry. Next up, you work in the warehouse. A lot of new people start off in the warehouse. We've got two different forms of payment in the warehouse. We've got it's called stuffing and stripping, right? And then we've got one called forestry products. If you're in a stuffing and stripping gang, working in the warehouse, your rate is $35 an hour. $35 an hour, you will see a $2 increase in 26, 28, and then 29. Let's say you work in the other warehouse and you're working forestry. That's going to be $26 for a gangman. It's going to be $27 for forklift and clamp, right? Sometimes those operators are referred to as drivers. That is the warehouse rate. Moving on to break bulk cargo. Okay, cargo not in containers, right? Individually taken out of the ship or into the warehouse. That break bulk rate is $26 and $26.50 for operators. Let's say you're a line handler, and we'll talk a little bit about the brand new breakfast clause we have. If you're a line handler, if you're working a vessel as a line handler, okay? The new deal is 6 handlers are required for tie-up vessels that are 1,100 feet or greater, okay? If you're part of car carrying vessels on berth 2022 our area, or if you're on any berths, anytime in any berth where the machinery can't be used, you also are going to have 6 handlers. That went from just having 4, right? You're going to have 6 in those two circumstances, right? That's brand new for tie-ups, okay? Now the breakfast clause. Let's say you're working overnight and your gang takes breakfast and you were making time and a half, and it used to be a situation where it went back to straight time. Well, if you work overnight now, you're paying time and a half, and you go to that breakfast break. When you come back, you're gonna make time and a half till you finish. It's a continuation. It's a breakfast clause that we're not gonna see. All right. Okay. But that pretty much wraps it up. That's the line handling piece and component. All right. Next is military. One more thing. I'm sorry. Military and break bulk cargo. Military rate is straight no matter when you come into the industry. That's $31.50. It applies across all positions, all vessels, and yard work. Now, it's a slash break bulk because sometimes military will bring high heavy. It will have things that need to just be taken off individually. But you may remember the vessel name was military. You got to check the cargo, check the worksheet, check with your business agents to make sure you're not on a break bulk, cargo bulk, you're actually on military. It's going to be military or break bulk. There was some confusion about calling it commercial. No, it's military and or break bulk vessels as it relates to the military. Okay. All right, that's going to conclude our overview on wages. I'm Mitzi Pollock. At the help desk at local 1408. If I'm not in your local, I'm still accessible. You can take my number down, 904-502-2517. It'll be also in the information in the link below. If you got an idea or you got a comment or a question, feel free to send it in or leave your comments down below or call again our 24/7 hotline at 904-502-2517. We'd love to be able to hear from you and see if we can't come up with a video to help you out. All right, so make sure you subscribe. We'll be having more videos just like what we had on today. And again, I'm super grateful, super happy that you all chose to tune in with us on today at the actual help desk. This again is a new video series on demand. Until we get together again, make sure you stay safe out there. Stay awake, as we say in our port. Keep your head on a swivel. God loves you, and so do we. Take care. ILA, Local 1408. I've been Mitzi Pollock.